You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Seminoles. I'm your host, Drake, and as you know, today is Saturday, so you know what time it is. I am joined by the man himself, Mr. Danny Domino, a professional handicapper, to pick some games for the weekend, whether you're listening to in the morning on your commute to work or in the middle of the day during your workout or, right before bed. Hopefully you're listening to it earlier in the day so you can get all the juicy picks. But I'm not going to hold us back any further. Danny, how you doing, my guy?
I'm doing good, Drake. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I just got back from the gym. I got a sweet little pump going on. Did a little bit of shoulders, I feel good. I feel locked and loaded because we need to recoup some money for the folks out there after last week.
Yeah, we need to lock and load on these picks instead of the gym. But
that's very, very true. I mean, folks, I will say, we're honest here. We're honest men here. We're here to, we're thick men helping to thicken your wallets. Last week was our first negative week, but we are very, very precise this week with our picks because we're not here to let you down again. And this week is the middle of the year. In my personal opinion, it's a lot harder to make these picks now in the middle of the year because right now there's a lot of overcorrections from the books. But I think we got some winners here for you.
Perfect. Well, Drake, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with a little ballsy here. I'm going to start out with my bankroll builder.
Okay.
And I'm going with the Cowboys of Oklahoma State over Texas.
Okay.
I knew that was going to be your reaction.
Okay. Talk to me, Daddy.
Again, I don't think Texas is that good. I think they got a lucky start last week, gifted 14-0 with a 75-yard touchdown against Oklahoma, and then a blocked punt. Get the ball to 2. Pretty nice little start to the game there. They end up blowing the lead. I just think they're going to have quite a letdown situation in this spot. Oklahoma State's coming off a bye week. They're 2-0 against ranked teams this year. Where Texas is 0-2. So I'm going to roll the dice here a little bit. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. Last I looked, they were at plus 160. I expect them to go into Austin and upset the Longhorns.
So here's my thing. Oklahoma State is probably sneakily the quietest undefeated team out in the country right now. Mike Gundy always gets those boys to play. And Texas did lose a heartbreaker to Oklahoma. Trust me, I had Texas money line and in the spread, and that just really hurt my heart.
Tough. That's tough.
It set the tone for the rest of the day, if we're being completely honest here. But do you just not have that much faith in them to get up here and play this game?
I think Texas is on its way back. I think Steve Sarkisian's a good fit for them. But I just think, a heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma. They're bouncing back. Oklahoma State's coming off a bye week. They're 2-0 against proven teams where Texas is 0-2. I think this is a good spot for the Cowboys because, like you said, they are quiet. I think this is where they want to sort of come out and try to not be as quiet and let everyone know, hey, we're not our typical Oklahoma State that starts out 7-0 and ends up 8-3. So I got a little more faith in them this year with that defense. I think they're going to try to do their best to shut Robinson down, but I like the Cowboys plus 155. It looks like you're telling me they're at.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you on this one personally. Before the season started,
I knew that was coming. That's why I didn't tell you what this pick was. Before.
I know. Hey, that's bear the lead on me, my guy. But when we did Heisman odds at the beginning of the year, Max asked me, certain players who I thought would be great value. We both were on the consensus that Matt Corral will probably be really good. We were the first folks, by the way, to say that. So hopefully you locked that in when we said that. But my unsung, underrated Heisman pick was Bijan Robinson. And I think he's going to be the difference maker actually in this game. So me, personally, I think he's going to be the difference maker. I think Casey Thompson is probably one of the better quarterbacks actually in the country, especially after seeing him last week. And I think that defense, if we're being honest, they look bad because Caleb Williams, there's no tape out on him yet right there. When Spencer Rattler was in the game, they dominated the kid. And that man is now benched. And he's probably not going to be in Oklahoma for very much longer. So folks, the boys are at odds with their odds. Ride with Danny for his bankroll builder at plus 155. Or you can ride with me with Texas minus 3.5 as of this recording.
Perfect. I knew where you were going with that one right away.
I know. So where do you want to go next, Danny, for your card?
I am going to hop over to the Big Ten here for my next 2 picks. I'm going to start with Michigan State -4.5 at Indiana. Indiana is 0-3 against top 25 teams this year. They've lost by 28, 14, and 24. Going off historical values, you're losing by about 22 points a game to top 25 teams. They only beat Western Kentucky, who everyone knows how much I love them. They only beat them by 2. Michigan State's rolling. I love Mel Tucker. Love what he's doing up there in East Lansing. I think they have a spot here too. I think they play Michigan next week, and I think Mel Tucker coming from the SEC. I think he's going to have his dogs locked in, and I just don't think Indiana's good. I think they're falling off. I'm rolling with Michigan State Sparty -4.5. Let's see what we can do. And again, they beat Nebraska, and I'm rolling this pick right into my next one. I hope you didn't have any thoughts on that game, Drake. I'm rolling this game right into the last one. Everyone knows I was down on Nebraska. I love fading Scott Frost. Man, these last couple of weeks, they might have made me a believer. They've lost to 3 top 10 teams by 3 points in overtime, and 7. They're keeping it tough. So I'm rolling that Michigan State play right into this Nebraska play. Nebraska -4 at Minnesota. The last time they lost a game, they came out and spanked Northwestern 56-7. Minnesota's not quite as bad as Northwestern, but I don't think they're good. Nebraska has 150 yards per game yard differential, which is incredible, considering, like I said, they played 3 top 10 teams so far. That's very impressive. And Minnesota just beat Purdue 20-13, I believe, but Purdue outgained them 448 yards to 294. They're getting outgained. They got lucky to pull away with that one. So my next 2 plays are Big Ten small road favorites, and Michigan State -4.5 and Nebraska -4.
So you're right about the Michigan State one. I actually was on that ad open. I actually got them at -3.5 on I want to say Monday afternoon. And I love that play, -4.5. I'll still take that because I agree with you. I think Mel Tucker sneakily might be coach of the year with what he's doing right now.
I don't even know if it's sneakily.
For my personal opinion, I think it's between him. It's between him, Jeff Hafley. I think is another really, really good one. So I'm going to ride with you for the -4.5. I can't ride with you in Nebraska.
I don't believe
it's really I think I've been hanging out with Max too much. I just don't believe in Scott Frost to do anything really well coaching wise. Personally, I think he's a great offensive guru. I think he made a huge mistake. I know it's a feel good story. He was the national championship quarterback actually at Nebraska and then go back and coach there. But I think he left something really special on the table actually at UCF. So I'm not touching that. So I will ride with you though, -4.5. And I'm also going to take the under in that Michigan State game at 48.5 too.
I was going to say that offense has been looking sharp though.
It's been looking sharp, but they take up a lot of time with the clock with time of possession, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
So that's where my thing's at with that. So folks, ride with Danny with the Michigan State -4.5. I'm riding that as well. Take Nebraska -4 if you want to ride with him. I'm steering clear a little away from that. And if you want to go on a side mission with me, little rendezvous, Michigan State at under 48.5. Danny, I have a feeling that we have a sort of little double down situation occurring in Death Valley this weekend, actually. So you want to tell the folks what we got on that?
I think you're right. I believe we're going to be on Florida minus, I believe you said it's 12.5 right now.
Yes, it is.
I'm definitely going to be on them. The top 3 players for LSU are out. They're wide receiver and then both corners. And they just came out a couple hours ago that their D end is out as well. Florida, they've beat every bad team they've played that hasn't been Alabama or Kentucky. They've won all their games. They've covered this spread by more than this. I think this is a get-right game for Florida. I think Dan Mullen tries to make a statement here. I think people are sort of writing off LSU, and this might be the game that gets Ed Ogeron axed. I think this game has the potential to get ugly. Like quick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with that. And also, if you notice, there's a lot of players that are injured. Like Keishon Boutte is out. Elias Riggs as well.
Singletary.
Their defensive end, I think, just announced maybe not even an hour ago. Like, because I remember this line actually was at 11 about an hour ago, and it's jumped up a full 1.5, which is
Yeah.
absolutely absurd. And I think you're right about that because Florida was going to win the game last year until, the shoe throw heard around the world that we saw with Marco Wilson.
Yeah.
And this is definitely going to be the game that probably gets – I think Coach O was already fired. I just think losing badly to a UF team that runs the ball very well and LSU cannot stop the run save their lives, this is definitely going to be the game that just what's the word, accelerates the firing process. So
I agree. I think this game has the potential to get pretty ugly pretty quick here.
Yeah, it's definitely. And I actually hopped in on this like immediately at open. I got a -10, and I'm going to ride with you again at -12.5 for the Locked On Seminoles Danny and Drake official double down of the weekend, folks. Is Florida -12.5, and because I just love to watch points scored, give me also the over in this game at 58.5. Sorry, 59.5. I will still take that. I still think Florida's defense, if you actually notice, like it's improved, but actually every quarterback that's played Todd Grantham this year, the defensive coordinator for Florida, their QBR jumps at least 25 points, which is absolutely absurd. And Max Johnson isn't a bad quarterback. All I need them to do is score maybe 10 to 14 points because Florida will score like 42 to 47 by themselves.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to hop on the over. I get a little weird about conference overs. But if I was taking our side there, I'd definitely be leaning over and not the under.
Perfect. Now, Danny, where do you want to go next within your card?
I'm going to go to where the dogs are barking. We're going to go to our super dog pick here. And we're going to go to the MAC. I'm getting ready for the action here in a couple weeks. So I'm going to start keying in. Kent State +7 at Western Michigan.
Oh, it talked earlier to me. I love this already.
I think these are very even teams. I think Kent State probably has the better quarterback. But if you look at stats, they're very, very even teams. And I just think Kent State catching 7. When I saw that number, it sort of jumped out to me. I thought it was going to be a 2-3 point spread.
Are you still good taking them at 6.5?
I'm perfectly fine taking them 6.5. I prefer 7, but 6.5. I locked it in at 7 earlier today. But Kent State, they're a little better running team. I think they're going to go in, get the lead early, and sort of coast to. I'm going to call for an outright upset here, but I'm going to take the 6.5 for my super dog play as well.
I like that. And Western Michigan, though, they beat a very, very good Pitt team that isn't that great. I mean, I say that primarily because we cover them over at Locked On ACC. And the only great part about Pitt is actually Kenny Pickett himself, who I think is number 5 in the country per PFF for QB grades. Yeah. And he's like literally the one. He's like Atlas Shrugged. Oh, sorry, he's like Atlas, the mythical.
He's just holding everything up.
Yeah, he's holding the entire team up and doing all of that. So, because I don't think Western Michigan is particularly that great. And how I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. So I will ride with you with Kent State +6.5. Was it the Golden Flashes? Is that what we call it?
Yep, absolutely.
Ooh, Golden Flashes. Kent State, folks, take Kent State at +6.5 for the Super.
What is that money line at right now, by the way?
The money line? Ooh, yeah. It's at 210.
210. That's worth a play on my side. That's worth a play if you're feeling a little frisky.
All right, then, folks, take Danny with +6.5 for Kent State, and also take them on the money line at +210 as of this recording. I'm not joining you on that with the money line play, but I will ride with you with the 6.5 because I think that's actually a very, very good play there.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad I got the Drake stamp of approval there.
Oh, it's a great stamp of approval, even though last week it was not that great. But this week we are dialed in, we are focused, we are locked and loaded, and we're going to give these folks the money, give these folks the best that they need to have a great, great weekend. Do you have any more regular picks, Danny, or do you want to go straight to 6-shooter?
I'm good with my regular picks there. I do want to touch on something. A trend I talked about a couple weeks ago with conference dogs of more than 7 points with totals under 48. When I said that trend, it was 2-0 in that week. This week, there are, by my counts, 6 games that hit this. One is San Jose State, which is actually a Friday night game. So when you're listening to this on Saturday, we'll know if that hit or not. Other quick ones are Syracuse. We got Kentucky, Purdue, Southern Miss, and New Mexico. So if you're looking for something, a little underdog degenerate parlay, Again, that's San Jose State, Syracuse, Kentucky, Purdue, Southern Miss, and New Mexico. So keep some.
Okay.
That was a perfect trend on a week I said it, so I figured I might as well look at it. I didn't see any of those trends, any of that hit that last week, so that's why I didn't say anything. But we'll see how that goes. There might be something to keep an eye on throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, I will say, folks, this actually is a really, really weird week for picks. Danny and I were talking about this before the show and throughout the week. We typically get together like on Monday and like say what we like on the board. Like I take stuff at open, so does he. And then we both were kind of realization that a lot of these games are actually really difficult to pick because the lines are either very spot on or they're just super out there and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very interesting week. That's why this show is a little lighter. Our picks are a little shorter. But now, Danny, it's time for you to put them up. Give us the 6-shooter for the weekend.
All right, give me a countdown.
All right, let me pull up my timer real quick. Are you ready? 3.
There we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm going to start off with Pitt, Virginia Tech over 56. I just think I'm riding the Pitt over train the rest of the year. I'm going Northern Illinois -9 against Bowling Green. I really like this Huskies. I don't think the Falcons are anything special. Give me TCU +14. Everyone by now knows my feelings on Oklahoma. +14, Zach Evans is going to play. Max Dugan's going to play. That's a money line alert right there too. Fresno State -4 at Wyoming. Big fan of the Bulldogs here. I think it's a bounce back after the last loss against Hawaii. I think Wyoming's in a downtrend. I'm going to be on Kentucky, Georgia under 45. Both these teams run the ball, some of the best in the country, but they also stop the run, best in the country. And also Kentucky +22 for the trend I just said. And I can't find the spread for this game, but I'm taking Yale, whatever they are, minus whatever they are against UConn.
Well, you got that at 59 seconds.
I know. I was watching.
I was saying it's a good thing I have a timer out for you because last time you just, couldn't keep up with it, but that's good. I like that, Danny. I like that. So Danny, now that I've had time to go over my picks and cut down, I have a lot, even though I hate everything this weekend. I have a lot for some reason. It's kind of weird. So give me the countdown before we can start.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go ahead.
All right. First off, I want Virginia Tech +5. Actually, against the spread, ACC underdogs are 14-4 as of this recording. So give me VT +5. Next, I'm going to ride with you actually again. I love the UGA UK under at 44.5, primarily because that defense is elite. And if UK can't run the ball, which they wouldn't be able to against the defensive line UGA, they won't score. So the under is definitely going to hit. Now, next one, I'm not even going to explain it. I don't know why. I have a gut feeling. Give me Vanderbilt +18. I don't think South Carolina is very good. I know Vanderbilt's also bad, but I don't care. Now, also, give me BC +3. I honestly think they pull off the upset as well. But give me the +3 for the Boston College Eagles actually at home because NC State, last time they were away, lost to Mississippi State a few weeks ago. And lastly, the big elephant in the room, give me the under 83 in Ole Miss, Tennessee. I just don't see. I mean, they have great offenses, no defenses, but give me the under because I don't know why. I can see Lane Kiffin making a statement and maybe bring some defense.
I think you were done right at the 1-0-0 mark.
Right at the.
We're gonna have to send it to booth review to see if you were under or not.
Before we go, we are definitely going to have to tell the folks that, as we said earlier, a lot of these games they're difficult to pick this week, and
an ugly slate.
It's an ugly slate, and it goes balancing perfectly with our new segment, Better Beware. Folks, this is a game. There's a lot of games that me and Danny were very not high on. Obviously, you can tell it's a shorter episode today. So, Danny, where should we steer the folks away from?
I'm going to take him to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Shout out my man, Eric Musselman. Just got a 5-star recruit about 2 hours ago for his basketball team. If you follow me on Twitter, you're going to find out I'm a huge Muss guy. But, man, this line is odd. I think I love Arkansas. Everyone I talk to, everything I see, everyone's like, oh, give me Auburn, give me Auburn. I can't get over Bo Nix on the road. I think everyone has that LSU performance in his head. I don't know where I'd go with this one.
Yeah, so I was leaning Auburn and actually had almost in my 6-shooter, but then I remember that Sam Pittman is the head coach at Arkansas. And Sam Pittman, as of he keeps covering. I think he's 20-7 against the spread actually since he's been at Arkansas. And that's something I do not want to bet against. You can't go for, go against a fellow thick boy like that. It's kind of dirty if I do that. So that's definitely one I'm not going to touch. And that's probably the dirtiest one too, because it's a hard game to gauge, man. Because also I don't know how healthy Arkansas is too, but also Auburn with Bo Nix or Bo Picks in the road. You just don't know, honestly. So
yeah, I think this is going to be a game. I think it's going to be a good game to watch. I'm going to enjoy watching this game, but like I said, I would be on Sam Pittman.
What's up, nerds?
I
came in to save a graphic and saw you guys were in here, so I thought I'd hop in. Continue.
Oh my God! Hey Max, what do you think about the Auburn Arkansas game? Because that's the one game that me and Danny just basically we hate a lot of stuff on the slate. This is actually going to be a shorter episode.
I'm not a big fan of this slate, but
yeah, it's a tough slate. The like best game this weekend is a 27-point spread, right? It's like Georgia Kentucky is the marquee game, and what's the spread at 27 or 24?
22.5.
22.5. Yeah,
but it opened at 24, I think. So
it's a good weekend to have a bye week. I can't believe that the team that beat Texas A&M, who just beat Alabama, isn't legit to some degree, and we saw them put up a lot of points against Ole Miss, right? So we know they can score.
Yeah.
And to come out like that after getting really just obliterated by Georgia, you got to think Sam Pittman's able to take home a dub this week, right? Who's the favorite?
Arkansas is minus 4.5
at Auburn or at home?
No, it's at Fayetteville.
I don't know, man. I feel like Arkansas is going to win. I don't know what's the money line? What kind of juice am I getting for taking away the points? Like
probably -2.
Plus 165 Auburn, and it's 190 Arkansas minus 190.
I might, if you put a gun to my head and said you have to bet on this game, I would probably take the juice on Arkansas. I would take I would
minus
take
190.
The extra money. Yeah. And because I think they probably win this game at 4.5. Like, I don't know, man. This could be a field goal game. It could be a 1-2 pointer. Yeah. Arkansas could beat them by 30.
They could lose by 30.
Right. Like
I actually would take Auburn actually in this game.
I don't know.
I was going to actually take Auburn in this game actually, like with the plus 4.5 and the money line primary. But the problem is, I was telling Danny earlier that Sam Pittman is 20-7 against the spread, which is absolutely absurd since he's been in Arkansas, and that's kind of one of the things going away from me. And also, Arkansas has like a lot of injuries that go along the offensive line and their weapons, and also their quarterback isn't still 100%. I mean, they played really hard against Ole Miss, but that was a letdown game, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come in for next week. All right, folks, that is it for today's episode. For review, Danny and I are at odds for the Oklahoma State-Texas game. Your bankroll builder is Oklahoma State plus 155. I'm against that. Texas minus 3.5. We are in agreement, though, however, with Michigan State minus 4.5. I took a little bit of extra side action with Michigan State under 48.5. He also has Nebraska minus 4. He's a believer in Scott Frost.
Right.
I am not. I stayed away from that as far as possible. We are also, our double down for this week is University of Florida minus 12.5 down over in Death Valley because Coach O is about to get fired because half his team is injured / opted out. Also, we are in agreement for Kent State plus 6.5 because, as we said earlier, we're all about that action, especially when it's Maction. And he's also got Kent State plus 210 because Maction. Just because of Maction.
Why not?
And why not? And for the 6-shooter, he has Pittsburgh VT over 56, NIU minus 9, TCU plus 13.5, Fresno minus 4. We both on our 6-shooter have UK UGA under 44.5 because UK is not going to score a single point probably, or maybe even a field goal at best if they're lucky. And for the rest of mine, VT plus 5, as I said before, ACC underdogs against the spread and conference player 14-4, which is a great stat. Ole Miss, Tennessee under 83. I'm not even going to get into that. BC plus 3, and if you want, take BC plus 125 because they're probably going to win that game because NC State away from home is not very good, and Vanderbilt plus 18 because I hate myself and I think South Carolina is a very, very bad team. Folks, thanks for stopping by. Max, as always, thanks for stopping by as well. For Drake, that was Max. That was Danny. We'll see you Monday on Locked On Seminoles, baby.
Don't forget about the Yale Bulldogs against UConn either.
Boys, 2 weeks from today, we will be picking Tuesday and Wednesday night games because it will officially be November.